Okay, often when you come to a problem that has a data set, particularly if it's a large data set, you're going to want to use StatCrunch. You don't even really want to use your calculator. If you've got more than 30 or 40 values, it can be a pain. I want to show you on this one here. This is 3.2.25 for this particular text, but whatever problem you come to, often the data sets have this little button here. So this button here is going to allow me to copy the table. So even with smaller data sets, let me come over here. Even one like this, we can pull this into StatCrunch or Excel. These will not be too bad to do in your calculator. So you want to be able to do it in both, really. Let me go ahead and pull up the one that's got a lot of values in. I would not want to put these into the calculator. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to go open in StatCrunch. Okay, so I need to make sure I allow pop-ups from this site. So it pulls it up into this spreadsheet view. We're wanting to find the mean and the median of this data set. So we're going to go to Stat, Summary Stats. We're in columns. And we only have one variable. We could have labeled that variable. Looks like it's magnitudes of Richter scale. We didn't. That's okay. Now they've highlighted some by default. You can select other ones and push them over here. Or you can deselect ones. So if you don't want to see everything else, we just want the mean and the median, for instance. Select those, and I often want to know how many values. So I've got to hold down the control key to select different ones. You can group by. We don't have any other variable to group by. We're not going to be building where statements. You can put in percentiles if you want. You can store as a table. I'm just going to do this basic thing here. So mean and median. You know, in the next lesson, you'll do standard deviation. So we can go ahead and choose that one too. Compute. And there we go. Simple as that. So you don't have to spend a lot of time typing in the data. So the mean here, 1.4752. Median, 1.415. Let me also show you that you can pull this. Often they'll ask you to graph this. So maybe we want to do a histogram. So graph. These are the two basic ones we're going to use in the first part of the class. Stats. So we'll have summary stats. We almost always run. And then graphs. We almost always run some sort of graph. Histogram is a very popular graph, and stem and leaf plot. Histogram and box plot are the two most popular ones that we'll do. So let's go ahead and do a histogram. Select our variable. You've got some options here. I'll just take all the defaults. Compute. There's our histogram. And one thing that's kind of cool, watch this. I can select, left click, and kind of drag this bar, and it'll highlight all the values in the data set where those occur. So 0.43 is in between 0 and 0.5, and there's 0.17. This is really powerful if you have several variables you're looking at. You can kind of begin to investigate the behavior of some of these things and see some patterns. And just kind of notice you have some other choices here. You could get pie charts. We don't really use pie charts a lot in here. I can do a quick box plot, which you may not have had yet, but nonetheless, we can click box plot. We often will use fences, and I kind of like them horizontally. That's just me. And there we go. There's our box plot. I want to clear those values there. And that's all I want to show right now.